Hi guys, Yong here and welcome to this week trade recap. We're gonna look into week 46 of 2020, and in this episode here we're gonna talk about the Canadian franc. Okay, this is a trade that I personally didn't take it, but we talk about this, and there are definitely learning lessons that you can take away from this trade itself. Okay, and especially where you miss out on a profitable opportunity, right? You forecasted everything, you projected, and price move accordingly to how you have anticipated, but yet, right, there is no setup, or let's say you didn't write onto it. What are some of the emotions, the psychology that comes in, and hopefully this trade recap here is something that will give you that insights, okay, the perspective from missing out on the trade. How do you deal with it? Canadian franc, okay, we're looking for the buy, right? This is the daily chart. We're looking for this push up, some reaction here, and potentially reaching this, and has the potential to even all come back all the way up here. Okay, so the upside is definitely there, okay, based on the daily chart. On the 4-hour right now, we are looking at this very nice consolidation. Okay, the only concern I have in placing a trade today, okay, it's really, number one, the election is not yet kind of like clear in terms of what is going to happen. Okay, it's taking way longer than what we anticipated. Number two, if you look at the events calendar today, we do have the Canadian employment data. So if you're looking at CADCHF, it's something that you need to take note of as well. And we do have the NFP, right? Which might move the market. Okay, so yeah, the only downside risk or the only concern I really have is really this two. But other than that, the technical is telling us it's a good entry to consider for buy. Okay, and over here there are two ways you can look at it. Okay, one is of course the breakout. Okay, one is what we call the retracement, right? Using some FIT, you are waiting for it to come down. If I were to use an additional FIT over here, okay, something like that. Okay, I'll just do this. Okay, you will anticipate something like this, right? Wait, 1, 2, 3. Okay, somewhere around this region. Okay, so the idea is this is 1, 2, 3, and then from there it goes, and this is your correction. Okay, so and of course on the bigger time frame you do have this correction as well, right? 1, 2, 3. This is your impulse, and then 1, 2, 3. You expect the move to the upside. Okay, so for me, okay, would I look to take the trade here? I would say personally I wouldn't. Okay, simply because of the two reasons that I talk about. Would I miss this trade? Will it just go and tonight because of Canadian event, will this just take a reaction and start to bounce, and would I miss out on this trade? Maybe, right? But then again, the thought process here is I ask myself, am I more concerned of the risk, or would I be more concerned of the missed opportunity? Okay, so if you ask me, right, this is actually a very good as in case study for Canadian franc, right? It's a very good case study for you to also practice and ask yourself, right? Are you more of a person or a trader who leans towards minimizing risk? Okay, which means you are likely more towards like a conservative trader, or would you be someone who is more towards I'm afraid of missing out this profitable opportunity? So you are more towards an aggressive style of trading. Okay, so there's no right or wrong, but using this as a very good case study here, because you have the opportunity to miss out on a profitable trade because the technical looks really nice, but at the same time you do have certain risks on the table that we are all aware of. Okay, the election, the potential Canadian high impact news, right? So you need to determine for yourself. Okay, and this is a very good case study to help you utilize this opportunity to understand yourself a little bit better, right? Ask yourself, are you more towards afraid, or I would say afraid, okay? Are you more towards of, I wouldn't want to take this trade because there are certain risks on the table that, might not increase my chance of winning? Or will you be more towards the side where, this looks good, right? I do not want to miss this opportunity. Let's take it. Okay. So use this, okay? Use this case study, use this opportunity presented to us today, okay, to work on that so that you get a better understanding, a better clarity of yourself. Okay, so for me, I wouldn't. Okay, so that's my style, right? That's my stand. I wouldn't take this trade, okay, simply because of the risk on the table, okay? And for me, the logic and the rationale that I see over here is that there's no need for me to rush into a trade, right? We do have some trades running that is already in, some decent profits. There's no need for me to chase it, okay? Again, I'm not working in a hedge fund or anything. I do need to clock in certain trading activities, right? So today, if you work in a fund, you might need to meet a certain criteria of like how many trades you need to take, how many position, how many lot size you need to trade, right? But for us as retail trader, we are not put into those pressure. Okay, so you do not need to trade if you do not want to. Okay, so that's also part of our advantage. Okay, so for me, that's my step. Okay, so I'm not sure about you, but it's a good opportunity using this case study to work on it. So Hang Seng, we're gonna leave it here. Other than that, these are the two others that we talk about. Yes, Friday, okay, where I mentioned that I wouldn't personally be looking to enter because of certain risk event, news event. The US election result wasn't out then, okay, and I say that I want to put here so that we can look at it as a recap, okay? So let's take a look at that, right? CADCHF. So you can see how it's reacting right now. It goes into the territory that we are looking to enter, and it's bouncing up nicely right now, okay? So I'm not in this trade, okay? If you ask me, would I feel like, oh, then I missed out on this profit here? It's perfectly fine because we have already talked about that last week, right? So for those of you who are in this trade, I would suggest, you either shift your stops to break even or you let this trade continue running. Okay, it's perfectly fine, right? So nothing much has changed. The overall structure is still impulse correction. We are still looking for that move to the upside. Okay, the other one is CADCHF. This is not a trade we take, all right? But I don't know if some of you actually took it. This is classic case study again, right? Where, as I again mentioned, right, before everything happened over here, we mentioned last Friday, this is a trade that it might play out perfectly and I won't be taking it. And I'm prepared that if it played out perfectly, right? So take a look at this. This is really playing out, perfect, okay? If you entered somewhere here, you shift your stops to break even. Right now, you're dip in profits, right? Instead, it has also hit our target over here. Okay, so I'm not sure how many of took it. The target here is 7118. Okay, we are still looking for upside, but do expect some kind of reaction over here. If this forms a consolidation, you can still continue to this upside. Okay, but the lesson over here I want to highlight is that if today you never take this trade, okay, you might be thinking along the line, I've missed a very good run. This is like potentially giving me that 2-3%, and you start to feel bad. And you think that, okay, next time, I will just take that trade, okay? So this becomes something that you remember because you missed it, okay? And that whole emotion and psychology is going to affect you moving forward, okay? Take note is that you might remember this one trade, okay? But you might forget, trades that don't work out, okay? An example over here, of course, is Euro Yen. I'm going to talk about it as well, okay? So I want you to pay attention to that, be aware of that. And of course, if those of you who took this trade, is a good time for you to actually shift your stops to, it's a good time for you to shift your stops to this low here, okay? I don't think it's a good, if price come down, I don't think it's a good thing to hold on to this trade anyway, all right? If you're in, just shift it to that low. If price comes back down, giving us a very sharp and deep retracement, you rather get out anyway, because then this here can be easily a double top and then it comes back down, right? So you want to consider that if you're in this trade. Of course, I'm not in this trade, okay? I'm not emotionally affected because I'm aware that opportunities are always there in the market, okay? This is just one of it that happened. Okay, so how is it gonna do is I'm just gonna keep this yellow highlighted. I'm gonna update this to guide you guys for those of you who are in this trade. The other one is of course Canadian franc. Same thing every time we have this expectation done, price tends to consolidate or it can do this reversal, which is exactly what it's doing now. And that's the reason why I say there's the stop loss that we trail to protect our profits, right? Of course, this trade here I'm not in, okay, but for those of you who are following this, it's a good run as well. Okay, you entered somewhere around here, managed to capitalize on somewhere around 100 pips or so, right? Okay, so pretty decent trade as well. Okay, so we're gonna put this aside as well. As of today, this is just basically an impulse, nothing much you want to do about it. Okay, so again, quick reminder, every time you see an impulse, leave it aside. Okay, so we're gonna just remove this, right? This is done. Right, so that's a trade that while I'm personally not involved, it was definitely a good run of profits, capitalizing close to about 100 pips on Canadian Swiss franc. Okay, but I think more important over here is to share with you the idea, the psychology, if how you're gonna manage it. Okay, when you plan out a trade, you analyze it, you forecasted it, but at the same time, it doesn't fit into the criteria for you to execute it, yet the market move off exactly as how you analyze. Okay, now if you're gonna be trading and investing in the financial market, there'll be periods, there'll be definitely trades or even investment ideas that you miss out. Okay, and this is very common. Okay, and I hope that this particular video here, sharing with you, okay, while I'm not in it, okay, how is it so important at the same time that we are still managing our psychology, our emotions, and of course having the discipline to follow through our trade plan and not just jump into a trade just because we're missing out and the market is moving without us. Okay, so this video, this recap for this week, okay, that's the important lesson that I want you to take away from, is to really have the discipline to follow through your trade plan, okay, and not to be jumping into the market just because of FOMO, the fear of missing out, or just because the market is moving and you want a piece of it. You want to ride on that last bit of profits and you just jump onto it. Okay, so I hope that you are able to take away this key learning point, these lessons over here, and this will definitely help you tremendously in your trading and investing journey. Okay, and of course, if you want to take your trading investing to the next level, you would like to join us in this community where I come in to share with you my thought process on a daily basis, some of the opportunities that we are looking out to participate, trade, and invest in the market. I've included a link below where you'll be able to learn more, find out a little bit more about what the eSmart Mastermind is. And of course, we do have a 7-day free trial for those of you who are serious, who wants to bring your trading investing to the next level. Do take this opportunity to come in, join us, and experience if this is something that is able to help you in your journey. Right, so with that, all the best to you guys for this week, and I'll see you guys next week again in our weekly trade recap video. All the best to your trading for the week.